Okay, uh, without further ado, I'm gonna let Mr. Dodi Yudianto to take the first session and bring what presentation and what will he teach us today. Thank you, and please, Mr. Dodi, teach us.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Good morning, Pak Oki, Prof. Heni, Pak Christian, and also all the students. So yes, let
Morning,
me
Pak.
share my presentations. Okay. Uh, can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay. So actually, this is my second time delivering lectures to BINUS students. Okay. My first time was in 2002 or 3, okay, maybe 2003. So it's a long time ago already. So yes, what I will deliver today is general knowledge. I will not go into detail so much, but at least I hope from this presentation, all the students you can get more knowledge about what's actually is happening beyond Indonesia. Okay, so I'm working on this kind of bio remediation things for my PhD study, and it was a long time ago also, about 2006 to 2009. But this program or this technology is still developing, and it's a very under a very rapid development. So today I would like to share some successful application of this technology to restore the polluted surface waters, and how this technology also can be used to enhance the performance of either drinking water treatment plant or wastewater treatment plants. Okay, so before I start my presentation, I would like to raise questions. What actually is defined by polluted water? Okay, so any one of the student can give me answer. What is polluted water? Uh, I give you illustration about the photo here. Okay, so you can see someone is actually drinking polluted water. So can anyone tell what is polluted water? Anyone? The student? Okay,
Anybody?
let me start. Okay, first one, dirty water. Okay, so this is the very simple definition of polluted water, dirty water. I don't know if you agree about these definitions. Anyone? No? Okay, so I'll go to the second one. It's color water. How about Fanta? How about Sprite? How about Coke? How about wine? Okay, all those drinks are color water. Do you think those are also polluted water? Okay, so the third one, how about this unpleasant smell water? Does this one also categorize as polluted water? Okay, so again, this is the real definition of polluted water. Okay, so the water is defined to be polluted if it contains toxic substances. Okay, and where these toxic substances actually come from. Okay, so it can come from the loss of any real or potential water uses. Okay, it can be point or non-point source of pollution. So point, it can be like outfall from industry, while the non-point source of pollution, it can come from the algae culture area or paddy field. Okay, and because it contains toxic substances, of course, it will be very harmful for the human health. Okay, so the major questions is what are the pollutants? So when we define that, okay, this is the polluted water, what are actually the pollutant inside the water. Okay, and then how bad the water is polluted, how rapidly is the water degraded, okay, and how actually the pollutant are transported. And then, of course, the last thing, the most important things for environmental protection and also for us is actually whether this polluted water is harmful to human health and how we can restore the conditions. Okay, so the fact is now I think you all also aware that our environment is now how to say like is now badly polluted. Okay, so we have so many regulations, but the uh, implementation of the regulation is very weak. Okay, while if you look at in many developed countries, they try to deal with this polluted water using technology. While for like Indonesia, we cannot say that Indonesia is still a developing country, but to afford a very expensive water treatment technologies, I'm not sure if all communities or even let's say local government can afford the financial things. Okay, so again, I would like to start with what I did in China for my studies. Okay, so as you can see here, there are a big issue of stream degradations when the polluted is discharged into the surface water. Okay, as you can see here, there will be depletions or decrease of dissolved oxygens so that the water quality of those rivers, okay, it reach out the standards, okay, and this kind of situation it is actually getting worse. Yeah, it get worse, especially in developing countries or lesser developed countries. Why? Because this kind of countries usually is made use by those developed countries to produce so many things. So as you can see also like in Indonesia, we have so many industries, okay, where actually industries contribute a lot of pollution to the water environment. Okay, and in China itself, they developed this kind the bioremediation technology to solve the problem. Why? Because as you can see that China, the total population of China is so huge. Okay, while they have a very limited space. Okay, so that's why they try to apply these bioremediation technologies to solve the problems on site. Okay, so this study becomes very crucial. Why? Because this bioremediation, it is believed that it can help to narrowing the gaps, okay, of natural stream restoration. Why? Because in most cities, yeah, the space is very limited, okay, and then based on some previous studies, okay, we found that not all technologies can solve the pollutions, okay, can overcome the pollution properly, okay. So there some indication of failures in wastewater treatment plant or drinking water treatment plant also identified in many studies, okay. And then, of course, in many countries, this is one of the most important thing is the weak implementation of the regulations. Okay. So this is what how the bioremediation technology looks like actually. So as you can see here, when we mention about the bioremediation, we talk about microbial organisms. Okay. So we try to culturize some microbiology microorganisms to help us to restore the polluted water naturally. Okay, so as you can see here, the microorganism is formed in liquid, okay, in liquid forms in many types. Okay, so as you can see from the photo, there are several types of microbials that actually use to do the or to conduct the bioremediations. Okay, so the question is how we can comes with this idea. So this is my professor in red jacket, as you can see here. This is my professor in China. Wait, okay. You see this guy, okay, this guy, a very strong guy. Uh, he was thinking that when we go to the very high elevations, okay, this is in Tibet, where the elevation is above 5,000 meters, okay, uh, the oxygen is very limited. So that means when we can extract the microorganism, in this case is about certain types of bacteria from the natural sites in Tibet in these elevations, okay, we believe that these microorganisms can help us to decompose the polluted water. Okay, why? Because in polluted water, the oxygen is very less. Okay. So when we apply this kind of bacteria, hopefully this bacteria can help to decompose the organic or the pollutant itself. Okay. Of course, it's a natural process. So as you can see here, my professor he went to Tibet in big groups, okay, with some people bringing stuffs. So as you can see here, they went there for like a month, and then they collected all sources of the main bacterias. Okay, you can see some people they went to the trees. Okay, they climb up the trees. Some people they went under the stones and everything. And then when they finished collecting all these source of bacteria, they went back to the city. Okay, and then they tried to culturize the bacteria. As you can see here, they use a Yakult bottles. Okay, so they put the materials into water. So they try to fermentate the bacteria, and then they test it in labs. And as you can see here on the right side, okay, this is the biggest photo. This is the machine to produce the bacteria. Okay, and then next, this is the case study I did for my PhD. Okay, so because this is a pilot project, so we selected one short river. The total length of this river is about 2.5 kilometers, and we install five monitoring stations. As you can see here, the first one, small bridge of wrong lanes, until to the last one is the small wood bricks. Okay, and as you can see here, when my professor did these projects, actually he didn't know how much bacteria should be injected into the river. Okay, so he used trial error methods. So as you can see here, on June 4th, okay, he injected about 0.8 tons of bacteria into the river. And then next, on June 13, he injected again 2.2 tons in the river of bacteria into the river. And then as you can see here, the last one is on July 31. It's about 1.5 tons of bacteria. So the treatment itself, it took times about 3 months. Okay, and then after that, this is the situation of the river. As you can see here, the left one, this is the upstream conditions. Okay, as you can see here, the water looks very green. And then in the middle, as you can see here on the right one, okay, you can see grease or oil on the water surface. Okay, this is all oils. Why? Because in China at the time, the uh, community or people, the local people, they like to discharge something from their kitchens directly into the river. Okay, so when they finish cooking or they have some food waste, okay, from their meal, so usually they discharge it directly into the river. As you can see here, now the river is badly polluted. And then while at the downstream, as you can see here, it also the same as we had in Indonesia. They also have a lot of traditional markets where actually these traditional markets also discharge waste into the river. Okay, so this is the initial condition of the river. The name of the river is Susi River. Okay, it is located in Wuxi City. Okay, it's very close to Shanghai. Okay, and then this is the treatment process. So the bacteria, after finish from culturizing the bacteria at the workshops, so the bacteria is actually was transported into the field sites. As you can see here, there are so many containers. It's more than 300 containers along the river. And then at the river itself, at the boundary, at the downstream, we install a certain weir. Okay, this is you can see here. We use a sandbag, okay, as an artificial weir. Why? Because we need to control the flow velocity, okay, along the river so that we can ensure that the bacteria, when we inject the bacteria into the river, okay, the bacteria, it has sufficient time to decompose the pollutants. Okay, so on the first day, we inject the bacteria into the sediments. Why? Because in the sediment, it contains a lot of pollutants. Okay, so one day after, as you can see here, it forms some flocks on the water surface, and then we try to mix these flocks into in the water, and then we inject oxygen, then we inject again the bacteria. Okay, as you can see, after let's say about almost 6 months, this is the water surface. You can see a very clear, or not clear, bright green color on the water surface. It means the bacteria, the bioremediation works very well. Where this green color comes from, you can see here the green color is different with the first one. Okay, this one is dark green. This one is very bright. So this bright green color, it comes from the bacteria itself. So when the pollutant has already, let's say, it's gone, the bacteria, the pollutant is gone. So that means the bacteria, it doesn't have the sufficient food again. Okay, so the bacteria will die. When the bacteria die, it will also transform into the another pollutants. As you can see here, this is the cause when we almost finish the process. Okay, then when we found this green color, actually, my colleague, my professor, we were so happy. Why? Okay, let's do the last things. That means we apply another types of bacteria into the river. Then within 1 month, okay, this is the results. Okay, as you can see here, after treatment, the water looks very clean. Even at the downstream, next to the traditional market, you can see here now. Before, the water is very green, dark green, but now it's clean. And even as you can see here, okay, you can see now the water contains some little fishes. Okay, so that means the oxygen concentration in the river, it increased significantly. Okay, the good things what they have done in China, actually after they finish the restoration projects, the government, they continue the project with revitalization. So this is the left two photos, actually the initial conditions. But after they finish the bioremediation, the restorations, so the government tried to separate or to avoid, okay, direct contacts of the community into the river. So they build roads along the rivers. Okay, so by this, the government can protect the river body from a direct context to the humans, to the communities. Okay, so this is one lesson from what we did in China. Then what I did for my PhD, okay, what I did is to for my PhD actually is I develop a mathematical models. Okay, so I will not go through into detail of these flow charts, but as you can see here, I try to develop the model so that when we want to do the bioremediation projects, we know, okay, this is what we have to do. How much bacteria, when, and where the bacteria should be injected, I can optimize it using the models. Okay, so this is the equations. Okay, I use for my models. So there are 10 at least partial differential equation I use in my mathematical models, and this equation actually it should be solved together at the same times. So we cannot use solve the equation one by one, but it should be solved simultaneously at the same times. Okay, and this is the output. As you can see here, as you can see here on the left side, okay? So this is the results of the bioremediation when we finish the bioremediation or the treatment process, okay? The left one is the dissolved oxygen concentrations. As you can see here, the square black dots is actually the initial concentration of dissolved oxygen. As you can see here, the oxygen concentration is very low. But after restorations, okay, you can see here, the oxygen concentration increased significantly from almost zero into 3 milligram per liters. Okay. And similarly for the concentration of chemical oxygen demands for ammonia, okay, and also for total phosphorus. Nah, and then what I did for my models. So this is the black dots. These are the observation data. Okay. What I did with my models is I try to understand how when I inject the bacteria into the river, how it will the concentration or its concentration or water quality parameter can fluctuate along the process. So as you can see here, I tried to observe for 7 days. Okay, so I took sample for 5 days. Okay, but this one, of course, yes, I missed this one, the peak one. Okay, and then by using my models, I could actually predict how the concentration of each parameter looks like. Okay, so I did this for at least these 4 parameters. Okay, and then it works well. So that means using this model, I can predict, I can estimate how much bacteria should be used in bioremediation process, where the bacteria should be injected, and when it should be injected again after the first injections. Okay. And then this is some example, recent example of the bioremediation project. So this come from the Quy Miao River. This is the situation of the river. Okay, this is the before treatment. Okay, from the upstream to the downstreams. Okay, and then as you can see here, the river looks the color is very black. Okay, and it stinks. Okay, the smell is not good at all. Okay, and then we try to inject the bacteria. Okay, this is now the bacteria. They develop the technology. They don't only use the wear at the downstream, but they try to develop the bacteria under the riverbeds. So how? Okay, how? This is the techniques. So they try to find certain types of stones where actually they can grow the bacteria inside the stones. Okay, then they try to soak all these stones in the bacteria in a very big tanks or reservoir. Okay, ponds of bacteria, and then they try to soak this stone for let's say about 1 month. And then after that, they line all these stones on the riverbeds. Okay. And then as you can see here, this is 1 week after treatments, the water color start to change. Okay. And this is after 2 weeks. You can see now the water get clearer. And then this is 3 weeks after. Okay, now you can see the riverbeds. Okay, and then this is the 4 weeks. Okay, so the depth of this river is about 2.5 and up to 3 meters. Okay, so this is what you can see from the treatment, and it took only about 3 months to finish the treatments. Okay, and this bioremediation technology is not only used for the river, but also for communal septic tanks. Okay, this is we did also a project at communal septic tank in one school. Okay, and as you can see here, this is the situation before treatments. A lot of waste inside the septic tanks, and then we try to separate it. Okay, to separate the solid waste, and then we inject the bacteria, and as you can see also, this is the result. 45 days, 19 days, and this one is after 135 days. You can see here the water looks very clean. Okay, and then this is also they use the bioremediation technology to restore the reservoir. Okay, so this is like a small dams. Okay, as you can see here, the initial situation, the initial condition, the water looks very green, but after 1 month, okay, this is the results. Okay, and this is my photo. Okay, in 2006. Okay, so when my professor took me to the wastewater treatment plant, so this wastewater treatment plant, it was closed by the government because it discharged the effluents. Okay, uh, beyond the standards, the national standards. So yes, so the government, they closed the treatment plant, and then my professor was assigned or appointed by the government to solve this problem in 6 months. Okay, so again we inject the bacteria into the some treatment storage tank in the treatment plant. As you can see here, there are several processes in the treatment, but this is what is very important. The removal rates of the pollutants. One is the ammonia, and second one is the chemical oxygen demand. The removal rate, both of them above 80%. Okay, so that mean this technology works very well. Okay. And then this is also another examples when before we realized that we cannot decompose the styrofoams, but this is my colleague. Okay. He showed me something. Okay. He took one glass. Okay. And then he fill it with drinking water. Then he inject a little bit of bacteria. Then he mix it. Okay. And then after that, he drink the water. And then after that, he uh, actually set some styrofoams into the water. And then within 1 hour, the styrofoams gone. Okay. And we use also this kind of technology for treatment of the fish pond. Okay. And also for the soil fertilizations. Okay. So this is a land. Before it was a construction land, then the government they remove all the buildings and they change it into a agriculture area. Okay, so we use this bacteria also to grow, to improve the uh, organic matters within the soil. Okay, so this is what we did, and then this is the last one I did also in Indonesia. So I applied the bacteria used by my professors, okay, or developed by my professor in Indonesia in Citarum River. As you can see, this is a laboratory test. All the parameter, we measure the parameter and everything, okay, and then we try to observe, okay, for a few days. As you can see here, we tested the water for 9 days, and as you can see, the removal rates of COD, nitrate, total nitrogens, and also total phosphorus, it is very good. Okay, so when we said that how we can apply this technology in Indonesia, of course, it's a very potential technology. Okay, but we have to spare sometimes because when we import the bacteria from China into Indonesia, there will be so many issues. Okay, so to solve or to deal with this kind of technology, we have to develop the technology in our country. Okay, and then this is also another examples. Okay, so based on that, we did also some modelings. As you can see here, this is the river. Okay, this is the river. Along this river side, there are so many industry, textile industries, so many housings. Okay, all of them they discharge polluted water into the river. So we took samples along the river and then we tried to models. Okay, we use two models. Here we use HEC-RAS. I'm sure some of you already familiar with this HEC-RAS. And we use another one. It is also very famous in water quality modelings. It called Qual2KW. Okay, so we try to compare these two models. Which one actually give a very good results? Okay, and then this is another case. Okay, we use this modeling also. Okay, to try to understand how the Surabaya River is actually polluted. Okay, as you can see here, this is the map of the Surabaya River. Along the Surabaya River, there are so many drinking water treatment plants. So that means this drinking water treatment plant, or we say PDAM Indonesia, they took the raw water from this Surabaya River. Okay, then they treat the water and then they distributed the clean water to the communities. Okay, but this river was announced very badly polluted. Okay, so we tried to collect some data from this river. So as you can see here, we have cross-section data, we have flow rate data, we have also water quality data. Okay, and then we try to models. Okay, we try to models this river. Okay, the water quality of this river. As you can see here, this one, the HEC-RAS, it works very well. So using this model, we can understand actually what is happening in the river. So that means we can also identify which actually contribute the most significant pollution into the Surabaya River. Okay, so this is just a very brief information I can share to all of you. I don't know if any of you are actually interested to study about this water quality modeling and so on, but this is a very promising fields of research and also applications. While because Indonesia is actually facing a very serious problem with the pollution, water pollution, water and environmental pollution. So, and there are very limited people they actually who actually master this kind of water quality things. Okay, so if any one of you are interested to study about this, I think yes, I'm very welcome to share more studies related to this water quality modeling. So I think that's all from me. Thank you. If you have any questions, welcome.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot, Mr. Dodi, for the insightful presentation about water quality, water bioremediation. Okay, is there any question from the audience about this presentation about this matter?